Welcome to There Goes My Money, episode number 3, recorded on March 30th, 2015. I almost said 3:30, but it's March. Um, this is the show where we talk about everything you can waste your money on that's brand new out for pre-order, Transformer related. So let's go ahead and get right into the show. Oh, this week we also have Headmaster Don.
Hey everybody.
Thanks for joining us, Don.
No problem. Sorry if I sound a little under the weather. I thank you changing weather in the South for constant sinus issues, so that's always fun.
But it's awesome to have you on, so thank you
Yes,
very much.
no problem.
First up on the show, we have Hasbro's Combiner Wars Leader Class Ultra Magnus. This is a highly anticipated figure, at least for me. It's an MSRP of $44.99 to $46.99, depending on where you're pre-ordering it, and it's an estimated release date of June. So, Don, what do you think about this figure? Do you agree?
Personally, I have no connection to this character with since I don't read the comics. This interpretation of Magnus is not something that I'm going to run right out and get. But I know a lot of people who read the comics or can't find a masterpiece Magnus or would rather save the money and get this version. I know it's highly anticipated. I'm glad it's coming out because a lot of people can't afford the masterpiece or they want something more IDW accurate for their Lost Light shelf. And
But
he
even
look,
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say, even if you're not into the IDW comics, I mean, Minimus Ambus is just in the center of his chest, and so he's still Ultra Magnus, even without that Minimus Ambus, you wouldn't even know he's in there.
Oh, well, I definitely agree. It's just for me, Ultra Magnus has never been one of my top tier. I've always liked the character, but a lot of that came from Robert Stack in the movie. I've always liked Robert Stack. Uh, but I've got City Commander, I've got the Titanium version in the box, I've got Citizen Stack, and I've got MP Magnus. Right now, I've got plenty of Magnus in my life. I don't need another one right now. Plus, I've got several pre-orders up that I could use that money towards something else. But I love this. I love this figure's coming out. Personally, it's not on my must get immediately, but down the road, if I see it on sale or I may pick it up later. Just right now, I've got enough Magnus.
Okay, so this for me is going to be a, shut up and take my money. I'm going to pre-order this right away, and it sounds like you're going to wait and see.
Yep. Again, just for right now, but you never know. A good sale price might change my mind.
And since we're talking about other, masterpiece esque figures, next we have on the list is Masterpiece MP18B Blue Streak. Finally, a blue streak.
Really, a blue streak.
And it's got an MSRP of $79.99 and estimated release date of August, which the masterpieces are usually pretty good about sticking to that release date, and it is just a repaint, so I think it is probable that it will hit that date. Now, I don't know about you, but this is the streak I remember, and I don't know why it's blue streak I remember, but when I think of when I think of streak or blue streak, that's the one I think of is a blue one.
Right.
And I know it's a Diaclone reference, but I, I I can't explain it. Was he blue in the show, Don?
No, no. Originally in the Transformers, he was the colors that you see on the regular version. Uh, he only became Silver Streak later on when they lost the rights to Blue Streak. Uh, but this is the one I pre-ordered the minute I heard it had come out on social media. Went to one of the shows, one of the stores, and pre-ordered it right away because since I've been collecting since '84, this is the figure I've been wanting. And I've mentioned this previously on TFYLP. Everyone in my age that's been collecting since the start, we all knew one guy that knew a guy that had a blue streak in the Transformers US packaging. but we've never seen one. We've all heard the same stories. So this coming out is a definite. Well, last week, if Frank Welker hadn't been announced for being at BotCon, I think this would have been the top news item.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I can't explain it why this is this is the Datsun that I remember, but it is. Um, the other thing about this is a limited edition or a limited release, but we're not really sure how limited that's going to be. So if you want to
Uh,
get this, I would pre-order it right
yeah,
away.
I've heard the number 2,000 kicking around at a lot of places that have pre-orders up. That's not been substantiated that I know of, but that's just commonly what I'm seeing is a 2,000 piece production run. But again, that could be one site being wrong, another site picking up on that, and you know,
And next we have on. Oh, I completely forgot to show the picture of Blue Streak. So there he is.
and I'm glad we're getting those missile attachments. If that picture's accurate, we're getting the shoulder missiles that actually look like shoulder missiles versus the little flashlight kind of
The little
looking thing.
nubs. Yeah, they'll still be underneath though. So
Yeah,
but it's nice you have you'll actually have different cannons to pose all your Datsuns with.
that's some
So
brothers.
yeah. And next up on the list, we have the Perfect Effects or Perfect Effect PC-03 combiner upgrade set with an MSRP of $32.99 and an estimated release date of July. But this is only the chest and the head for Superion.
Yeah,
The original set, which is the PC-01, that's the one with the feet, the hands, and the guns, and that is also $32.99. So roughly, if you wanted both upgrade kits, it would cost you about $75 or
which is just
$65. I'm sorry.
yeah, which is just about as much as the total all five combiners at regular U.S. retail.
Yeah, I mean, we knew Perfect Effect. Their stuff tends to be a little bit more expensive. So I don't know if this is what we were expecting or not. I think I'd probably pay $20 a set.
I think I was expecting more a more balanced parts count for each set, or one larger set for say 49, something along those lines. I was not expecting it to be those few pieces per set, and both sets being upwards of close to $40 in some cases with shipping. So I
Yeah,
think it looks good, but
even if they did one set, with the hands, the feet, the head, the chest, everything, I think I'd be, maybe $50 as a complete set.
yeah, I mean,
It,
I can see that because basically you'd be spending about $10 a figure to upgrade each figure and Superion as a whole, uh, and that wouldn't be and you could disperse that cost over the cost of the whole figure. But when you want both kits and it's the same cost as the entire combiner, I don't I don't know how people are going to jump on this right away.
yeah, I don't know that I can justify this, and I probably won't. This is probably going to be a pass for me.
Yeah. It's going to be a pass for me as well. It looks good, but as we've all said on RFC, Superion is a very strong figure coming out of the gate from Hasbro. So this isn't as necessary as say it would have been 5 years ago with Fall of Cybertron Bruticus or whatever.
Yeah. And the hands and feet are a little weak, personally, on Superion because they're trying to do a couple things. This does look better, but it doesn't look $33 better.
Yeah,
So,
it's yeah, it's a pass for me definitely.
and next on we have the same upgrade kit, but for Menasor. It's the PC-04. It's the same MSRP, $32.99. Same thing. The feet and the hands are a separate kit for $32.99. and this kit comes out in July. Both the other hands and feet kits are estimated for, I believe, May. So this is a little bit later than the hands and the feet. So you can't even get these at the same time.
Right.
But this one actually has the vent pieces for Motormaster, and it has an extra, looks like a head and an extra piece to make the sword a little bit longer for Menasor.
Mhm. I think the kit is a little bit better for what it does add to Minosaur versus Superion, but again, I don't really think it needs it unless compared to say an earlier combiner from several years ago, like say the Energon combiners and stuff like that. Uh, this is a pass for me as well, but again, it does look good. I like the Minosaur kit more than the Superion kit.
Yeah, definitely. And our final item, I had to put this on the list just because of Brian Kilby.
Well, actually,
Oh
no,
wait, I'm sorry.
no, yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry. We're skipping over something.
yeah.
the the next thing is this is the Toy World, and I forget the name of it. I missed putting it in the notes.
Corelock,
There you go, Corelock, and he is they're not Grimlock.
mm-hmm. Which is part of their combiner team.
Yes, and I believe the MSRP on this is 149.99, and I'm not sure of the release date on it or the
Uh,
estimated release date on it, but that's all right. We can just, I mean, I'll say it right up front. I didn't get in on the combiners, the Dino combiners, and this Grimlock to me just looks a little weird. It kind of looks like the Masterpiece Grimlock, but not as good. So this figure for me is definitely going to be a pass.
uh, well, I was trying to double check that figure. I thought I had seen it cheaper, pre-listed somewhere else. Um, I'll be honest. If I wasn't doing the Fans Toys Dinobots, like your review of Sever that you just put up, I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I've seen a few stills from it, and the Fans Toys are my Dinobot group of choice because I really wanted Masterpiece level Dinobots to go with Grimlock. I'll say that if I wasn't collecting the Fans Toys version, with this being, I've always wanted a Dinobot combiner, so it's very possible this set would have been my Dinobots of choice other than the Fans Toys. Uh, he looks a little slight, but again, you're probably having to compensate having a combiner torso in there as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Fans Toys is hitting it out of the park. The Sever test shot that I got is just absolutely amazing, and a big shout out to Fans Toys for sending it that my way to preview. But this just doesn't really do anything for me. Like I said, it kind of looks like my masterpiece, and I like my masterpiece better.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's trying to balance between being Fall Cybertron and enough of a G1 Grimlock to get those fans in there, plus serve the purpose as a torso. So it's trying to do a lot of things at one time, both aesthetically and from a construction standpoint.
yeah. So yeah, total. So you're gonna pass on this too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, this is a pass. But again, down the road, if I see a good price on the set to have a Dinobot combiner, maybe. But again, that's down the road.
And then, as I was saying, because of Brian Kilby, this has been an item I've forgot to add into the show the last 2 weeks. So it's actually been up for pre-order for a little bit longer than what we normally do on this show. But it's MakeToys exclusive Dystopia with an MSRP of 37 $379.99 plus an additional $54.99 for shipping for a total of $434.98. Now I usually don't talk about shipping, but because you can only get this at one place, which is MakeToys web store. I'm mentioning it because there's not a store you can get this from and get free shipping. So
Right.
I think it's relevant.
Right.
The pre-orders on this end on April 15th, and it has an estimated release date of May.
Hmm.
So I know a lot of people are really interested in this figure, and I just wanted to get this out there to say, hey, if you're interested in it, pre-order it now because I don't even want to know what this is going to go for on the aftermarkets if people don't realize it's out and then start to want it after the pre-orders are already up.
Yeah, that would be bad.
I wonder how many people are actually pre-ordering this just so they can flip it in a month or two for an extra $150.
It's possible. Again, though, it's a character I think a lot of these people are buying because as we've talked about on RFC, you can't get a G1 Metro Titan for the price of this. I mean, you might can get one slightly yellowed or missing parts, or you might could piece one together over time. But we're talking Metro Titan from Battle Stars. Piecing that together would be like trying to piece together a Lio Kaiser. It's not going to be easy. So if you have any level of Metro Titan or have always wanted one, this is actually a very good alternative to trying to get the G1 version. Unless you're just a G1 purist, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just when's the last time you saw a Metro Titan less than $800 in the box?
And you would really have to want a Metro Titan specifically because you can still find uh, regular Utopia in retail.
Right. Well, as I've mentioned, I have more of a connection to Utopia, who I have as an upgraded Classics Metroplex than I have any connection to Metro Titan. Uh, if I had no other pre-orders out there pending, and I didn't really need the Metroplex, I would be getting this just because of the color scheme. But you know, I strongly suggest if anyone has always wanted a Metro Titan, this is going to be your best chance to get at least a representation of the character, unless they somehow do an encore reissue, which at this point with what Hasbro's been giving us with Star Saber, we could get our encore Metro Titan. There's just no telling.
I think Metro Titan's a little bit too niche for them to do that, but
Well,
I've been wrong before,
yeah.
so
Well, eHobby's done some. They've done like Detritus and Overcharge. Heck, we got a Rosanna cassette in the Twincast reissue, and so I mean, at this point, an eHobby reissue of this would be, a no-brainer if they can pull out the mold.
so for me, this figure is going to be a pass. I just can't see separating with that much money at one time, and I really don't have an attachment to Metro Titan. If I was going to do it, it would be for Utopia.
Yeah.
But I think for Brian Kilby, this is probably a should pre-order.
Well, well, I think, uh, hopefully, Brian. I'm hoping everybody that wants a Metro Titan will be able to get this figure at some point without suffering any ill consequences from, you know, not eating for a month or things such as that. Because I've lived off ramen for a month. It's not fun. No toy is worth that much sodium. But yeah, so it's a pass for me. But I hope everyone that's been wanting a Metro Titan is able to get it.
This is a slippery slope too. If I would get one of these figures, it then connects to their upgrade kit for uh, what was the Omega Supreme.
Yeah.
So then you would have to get that because they connect together. I don't even want to think about then you have two Autobots this size. Now they're going to come out with their not Scorponok.
Yeah, Pandarius, I believe.
Yeah, this is a dangerous habit to start.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if they do, if they did say the Pandarius, we haven't seen that in color yet, so that could be a must get for me once I see it in color. It's going to just depend on what it is and the attachment that I have to the character. But being a Headmaster fan, that automatically has me more interested in it than Metro Titan here or Dystopia. But I will say this: love the name. Cannot tell you how much I love the name on this character. You know, you've got Utopia, which is a paradise, and Dystopia, which is a not paradise. So you gotta love that.
But that's all that we have this week for There Goes My Money. And I'm sure there's plenty of items this week that can make your money disappear pretty fast. So
Yeah.
especially with Dystopia.
Yep.
So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Everybody, take care.